break out of it, man. So it's all about revolution.
Well, happy birthday. I totally forgot. That's not surprising. It's been a crazy, dude. We did 8 or 9 states. So we were in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, went to Washington, D.C., and then we were in Connecticut and Pennsylvania.
That's a whirlwind tour.
I wish I had some singing gigs. I could have made some money. Did
you go to was it Kingston Street in Philadelphia? Or
no, we didn't go to Philadelphia this time. We went.
Oh, okay.
We went last time we were here. We went down in the Constitution Hall and the Liberty Bell. Okay. We did the touristy thing and the round. I was really disappointed with Philadelphia. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know what I was expecting. Obviously, something completely different. But I was thinking it was going to be more like the Washington Monument Mall.
That's pretty impressive. And Philadelphia, I've never been there.
Well, it's buried in the middle of Philadelphia. There's all these, big tall buildings around it. I mean, it's cool, but it's really tiny. Everything's tiny. Just the buildings are relatively small, and and these big skyscrapers all around it makes it feel even smaller. So that's my take on that. I mean, it was cool. We went around, looked around, walked around and stuff.
You know what? You mentioned the revolution earlier. Revolutionary War.
I didn't mention any revolution. I never said anything about any revolution.
Yeah, you did. You said you were starting one. What was that website again?
Revolution.com.
Revolution. I'm starting a revolution.com.
Revolution number 9. Now they play Beatles music.
But that was it. I forget. Oh, Amazon, not Amazon. Prime Amazon, the video.
Yeah.
Prime Video. They did a special on Benjamin Franklin, and Michael Douglas plays Benjamin Franklin.
It's pretty good.
As a mini-series. Yeah, he does a good job. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But his whole basically is about Benjamin Franklin when he was in France negotiating for the United States.
He was there until he died. Didn't he die there?
It didn't. No, he went back to the U.S. and I think he died in Philadelphia, but I'm not exactly sure.
Well, I was reading something that said that he was like over in Europe for like years and years. I mean, like 20 years.
Yeah. He was in England. They went to France, and he was there for a while. He liked it. If you get a chance, you want to watch the series. I think it's like episodes, but they do a good job. Michael Douglas, he's a good actor. So I mean, they do a good job telling.
Did you ever watch that Operation Mincemeat, that World War II one?
I haven't watched it.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean,
yeah,
historically somewhat accurate. I guess they took some.
Like I said, I read the book. I don't know if I read the whole book, but I'm familiar with the operation. Yeah. But I think that was a great 4th of July discussion. Get everybody motivated about this 4th of July weekend, the Independence Day weekend. A good talk about insurrection, revolution.
Yeah, what are you guys going to do for the 4th? What are you doing for the 4th?
We are actually going to go down south and get with Steve and Ann and his
cool
daughter, husband,
Megan and Blake. Yeah,
cool. And spend the day there. But that's it. I mean, tomorrow we're just going to walk around, downtown, wave a flag. I mean, right now I'm living in the country, so it's kind of nice. You go to the stores, they got big Trump stuff. I mean, it's nice if you like Trump. If you don't like Trump, you probably are in a great state of depression and anxiety because this place is very pro-Trump.
Well, that's the other thing. They overturned a lot of his conviction. They said he's
But yeah, the Supreme Court ruled that he does have presidential immunity,
yeah, which is
which
surprising
is
because he
like,
was actually the president. And
duh. I
what's
mean,
really
every
surprising
president's had
is
immunity.
the things that they're not. I look at I don't really. I honestly don't trust the Republicans. I mean, I consider myself.
I don't trust any of those people in DC.
I
Heck
mean,
no.
and I don't
I
really
don't
even.
trust
I mean, I'm not a I'm not a big Trump fan on some levels. I
I'm
mean, I
not,
think it's
yeah, I'm
fine.
not
I'm
either.
not against the guy. I'm not against the guy, and I think, hey, look, he made a pretty decent president. He was a little too. I liked Reagan's um, interpretation of the presidency, and I know it wasn't his. It was Theodore Roosevelt said the presidency is the bully pulpit, and
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
sense of you're the president, motivate, encourage,
Right,
um,
right.
direct, and I felt like Trump Trump was a little bit too much like a snarky
Mm.
teenager, you know, and it's funny for a while, but then it's just like I just think I get it. I agreed with a lot of stuff he did. I didn't have a problem with it, but I just thought I wish he'd be a little bit more presidential,
Yeah,
approach things
yeah.
in a
I
more
mean,
in a
he's got a
more
very,
he
he's got
was
that, he's got that like New York mentality, the New
oh yeah,
Yorker type.
it's like yeah,
Yeah,
some New York cocky,
yeah, like a taxi
look, it's
driver.
fine. I mean, it look
Yeah,
at a lot of the stuff that um, different people said that would happen under Trump never happened, which is understandable. You have an entrenched bureaucracy that has its own motivations,
right,
and
right.
and
And he's
you're
not going along with them. Yeah,
yeah, and
he's
and they're
he's
they,
like, I'm gonna get rid of you
look at
guys.
look at
So,
what the FBI did. I mean, the FBI is like a Democratic arm of the Democratic Party.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's just unbelievable some of the arrogance and I shouldn't say
yeah.
it like I don't know that that's probably a wrong characterization because who knows what their motivation is. I don't know. I mean, you watch them in front of the Congress and you go, what's their motivation here? Is it just to perpetuate their job, which probably is,
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it's
yeah.
somebody said what
It's
the
like
go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like they don't. Nobody's in charge. They just do what they want. I mean, and they probably have dirt on everybody in DC, including the president. So
Yeah,
they can blackmail you. I mean, there's nothing, and that's what Hoover, when he started it, that's what he was getting on everybody, and that was his philosophy. And it's just perpetuated over the. So now, yeah, CIA, FBI, they do what they want. They're running the show, and not in the United States, but in other countries. So,
yeah.
so
Well,
that
no,
is what
but I
needs to
mean,
be expanded.
you know that a lot of there's so much going on here. I mean, you look at the NSA doing massive
Yeah,
wiretaps and data collection on
yeah,
citizens in the United
yeah.
States, which is illegal. I mean, it's beyond. You know, it's what it reminds. And I don't know. It can't remind me of it because I don't. But I'm reminded of the story of the Tower of Babel,
Mhm.
where it's like
Yeah,
there's this thing going on, but you don't even really know what it is.
yeah,
What is the motivation behind a lot of this stuff? Like they blew up, that crazy little thing where they blew up that Ted Turner had some weird 10. Was it like the seven humanist thing? It had this humanist
yeah.
monument down
In
in
Georgia,
Georgia, and
the
they blew it up.
limestone.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes. So
and
they
they
knocked it
somebody blew
over.
it up, and
Yeah, they
then
knocked it over, then blew it up or something. Yeah, it was a
I, you know,
humanistic.
I and I'm not
Uh,
I'm not trying to perpetuate anything, but I just think, what's the deal with that? I mean, who blew it up? Nobody ever did they investigate it?
Nobody,
I mean,
nobody. There's these weird things that they can't. They know exactly who went into during January 6th, who crossed the red tape, and who shook the barrier. But these other crimes, like the pipe bomb that was placed that morning in D.C. and and the knocking over the structures. Oh yeah, we don't know who did that, but we're going to arrest this grandmother who entered the Capitol, and took pictures. just the
It's so
insanity of it.
it's so ludicrous. The fact, I mean, did I think what one person got killed, right? Some security
Well,
guard.
actually, it was four. Ashley Babbitt was actually murdered in the Capitol, but then two
Somebody had a
people
heart
died.
attack.
Yeah, two people had a heart attack, but one had been hit with a rubber bullet, I believe, and then
Oh,
a little bit later he had a heart attack, and then Bryceland, I can't remember her name, Jocelyn Bryceland or something. Well, they're pushing, and the police were pushing. They were pushing. She fell down and basically got stepped on and trampled. And a few of the protesters, they dragged her out, trying to save her because she was not breathing, and they were trying to hand her, her over to the police. And the police were beating them with their clubs as they're bringing this body. And there's video on it. I mean, I'm talking about video footage. And the police finally take it, and they're just like dragging her down the hallway like a sack of potatoes. You know, it's just like this really weird. Well, why aren't you like doing CPR or going through the motions of when somebody's in distress like that? You just don't drag them down the hallway and put them in a. I mean, I'm laughing because of the insanity of them, not for her life was a
yeah,
valuable
yeah,
life. She was a great
yeah.
person, but just the treatment those protesters got in court and unseen during the protest is a third world dictatorship treats their people like that. Not the United States of America. Not we don't treat citizens like that. So yes, there has been a coup. In 2020 election day, there was a coup, and the election was stolen. And now we're seeing the consequences of a stolen election. This is what we're witnessing. We talk about, well, yeah, I don't like, but in actuality, this is not a legitimate administration. That's why they're doing what they're doing because they know they weren't voted in. They're not going to give up power. They're not going to give up power to Trump in an election. Heck no. What do you think Trump's going to do? He's going to investigate all of them. This is life
Well,
and death.
technically, I mean, the only thing that I would say is technically he was supposed to do that the last time he was elected. And, you know, the
Well,
whole,
yeah, he was, but he didn't know who was who. And that, I don't know. I mean, I've been following this for, 4 or 5 years.
yeah, and I
Um,
haven't been. So you probably know more than
right,
I do.
right. So
But
he
to
didn't
me,
really know, when he got into office, he really didn't know who was on his side and who wasn't. And he'll
yeah,
admit it. So
it looked
now,
like nobody was on his side.
right, and nobody was. That's
Pretty
what he
much.
learned.
I mean, the rats were abandoning ship
On
faster than
his, the
sinking.
only guy that was on his side was General Flynn, and he got arrested. Like day one, they arrested him.
I mean,
And
all of a sudden everybody's buddies now that Trump's in because everybody hates Trump, and even
yeah,
Trump's
yeah,
even Trump's people seem to be bailing on him. It's just like, what the hell?
yeah.
I
I mean,
don't know, dude.
that's what he wants. He wants to know who's on his side. That really is what he wants. He wants to see you bail, because then, I mean, I really think he will take office. I think that they have enough evidence that the election was stolen. It's just that the public doesn't get it or is not aware of it. So without the public support, you can't really just, if Trump went in there and just started arresting people in the military, it would look like a coup. And it would be could cause a civil war. So it has to be done where it doesn't create a massive backlash of the public freaking out and start protesting and rioting. So it has to be done at a level where the public is awakened bit by bit, drip by drip, and eventually it's like, oh, well, okay, now I get it. Now I know what, and that's what we've been experiencing. This is what I believe. I know I've lost friends and family members off of my beliefs of this. Yeah, it's just an awakening that America is going through. Nobody can run the country without the public support, start locking us all up and treating us like slaves.
Well, you know what? I think really there's to me it almost feels like the government as an entity is become so massive. It as long as we keep paying
That
taxes, it's it doesn't even matter who's president. It doesn't
Yeah,
even
that's what they
matter
want. Yeah,
because it's like this machine, this corporation, political corporation, is being fueled by all these regulations and millions of dollars. You look at after 9/11, all that military grade equipment that was doled out. I mean, I've heard that the federal board of education has a SWAT team.
yeah,
The federal school system has a SWAT team. And all
yeah,
this equipment that was doled out to, I mean, it went everywhere, right? And
yeah.
that's just sitting somewhere. And you know what I mean? It's like, at what point, it's, oh man, I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
where this
mean,
is going.
and that's the thing, and that's why way the Constitution is written, that the states have more power than the federal government. The federal government's reversed it through taxation. Now, all the taxes go to the federal government, and then they hand a little bit out to the states. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be the states that the taxes, and then pay give the federal government something for
Yeah.
keeping. But anyways, so the way to get out of the situation is we really have to, like you said in a few videos ago, we have to keep it local. You have to empower your county, your county commissioners, your city. That empowers the state, and the state's got to break its umbilical cord from the federal government and start running the state as a state. And they actually are more powerful than the federal government. Without the states, the federal government has nothing. They got DC. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the
I mean,
states have to
it's
wake up.
become, well. Look at
It
the
starts with the
federal government
counties.
is the large. I wouldn't doubt that the federal government is the largest employer in the United
Oh yeah,
States. Obviously, I
millions of
mean, you've
employees.
got all the military, then you got all that, and I mean, it's like it's like a self-consuming, you know, festering wound. I mean, it's just like anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's the way.
I love the
That's the way
concept
to
of
take it
America, but
back. Yeah,
what's that?
I said that's the way to take it back legally without a civil war, without civil unrest, is to empower the counties. Your county can be is a county like a little state within itself. It has a sheriff, it's got the city, you got your police force. You
Right.
have the means to function without the support of the state or the federal government. So we just need to start from that position and grow out from there because we can't trust the federal government anymore. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
bottom line.
well, I think too many people have their hand in the till. It's just not going to
Yeah,
happen. I mean, it's just
yeah,
it's like there was this. I think it was a California politician that said it's very difficult to convince a man of an issue when he's being paid to not be convinced of it.
yeah,
I think that's the thing. It's like all these people. It's like nobody wants to change anything because they've got and I get it. Look, I get it. It's human nature. I have become, I mean, in the last 5 years I've read so many science fiction books and nobody has any hope for humanity. I mean, really, it's like
God does. That's good.
God does. Yes, yes. And I'm glad he's got a good outlook
I'm
because
glad he's hanging in there.
I,
That,
I I've certainly become kind of pessimistic towards humanity's future. Apart outside of kind of what I believe spiritually, what I believe, my faith and that kind of thing. Humanity to me doesn't really hold. I mean, we may poke along, but the farther it seems like to me, the farther we get from God, not Christianity. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cultural Christianity to me is mostly what I've experienced, and I'm not talking about cultural Christianity. I'm talking about like the spiritual, the golden rule. Treat people like you want to be treated. The Ten Commandments, love your neighbor, and you know that kind of stuff.
right.
The farther we get from that, it's
Yeah.
like that. It's just it's like flushing a toilet. It just starts to spin. Everybody starts spinning, and then it just goes right.
Your society starts to degrade. You start following the Ten Commandments. That's the basic of to keep a peaceful relationship or community is the Ten Commandments. You follow
Yeah,
that, everybody follows that. There's no issues. I mean, there's gonna be, you know what I'm saying?
well,
But
even then
once
there's
you
issues, but it's
disregard that,
lessened. Yeah, it's lessened. I think it's lessened. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I just don't know how we're gonna. I don't know how we're gonna change the direction of kind of what I would call crazy, like demanding that people, it's like the whole LGBTQ thing with people. I don't have a problem with do what you want to do to a degree, but the whole point of being free was that you could practice your religion, and as long as you didn't infringe on anybody else's rights, all is good, right? So
yeah,
you can not practice or practice, but now there's people that are saying, well, you have to not only kind of like you have to endorse and you have to you have to give them rights beyond, beyond like what the average person has,
yeah,
and so now there's no gender. So now you've got, and I'm sure these are isolated cases, but if it happens, like men going into women's bathrooms and saying I'm a woman, men going into women's prisons saying that they're women, and then
yeah,
they're being accused of rape in the prison. It's like, well, you guys didn't see this coming. I mean,
yeah. Who'd have thunk?
it's just man. And I know some of that stuff. I don't think that's happening everywhere, but the fact that they're trying to push it, and it's just weird to me. I don't know.
It is
And I don't
happening
have,
everywhere. I mean, it's happening everywhere. That's the whole,
I don't know
people are
that
deviant.
that's what I don't see it. I know it does happen, but it's like isolated. If you're not standing there when it happens and you don't see it, all you do is read about it in the paper, right?
Right, right. Or unless you were in the community that where it happened, I'm sure it's pretty devastating to
Yeah,
have
I
a
mean,
child raped and
yeah.
passed
Well,
through the
any
school.
time that a predator preys on, yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's horrific. And I mean, look at none of this stuff is new to a certain degree. I mean, it was going on in the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was going on in.
Anything that man creates is going to disintegrate and be destructive. Even religion. you
We've proven
that's what
that.
we do.
We've proven
That's what the
that.
best.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. So we've got an
We've
hour.
been we've been celebrating the 4th of July for an hour.
Well, I got a few things I got to do, but
Yeah, yeah. We'll kind of. I think we got enough material to go to jail.
there
I
you
think this
go.
is
We can write. We'll be pen pals, prison pen pals.
yeah. This will probably be our last video.
Oh man, don't even say that.
What
Eh,
a few years ago, this wouldn't be an issue. Now we're like, wow, if we post this, could we get in trouble?
yeah.
Whatever happened to the First Amendment? Anyway,
Yes. What the heck is that? Oh, you know, yeah, anymore it just gets crazier and crazier. Well, the good thing is there's plenty of crazy on YouTube, and we'll just blend right in.
blend right in.
We'll blend right in. All right.
All right.
Well, listen,
All right.
have a good tell Steve and Ann I said hello, and have a good holiday. Good 4th.
Yeah. 4th of July, man. Party on, guard.
Adios, amigo. I'm out of here. Oh, I got to turn this off. I got turning off the wrong thing.
Everything off. Turn everything